What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Marie Fredriksson solo material. We're returning to the 7th wave, and we're skipping over a couple tracks because I already reacted to them on the compilation that Eric sent. What are you thinking, Luca? Are you coming? She's pondering. But yes, I believe this tune translates to Holy Man, if Google Translate is accurate. And I wanted to give a shout out once again to Jeebus, who did mention, I think, was it starting the pair material? There was something he mentioned that I should do before too much time passes. I'm amenable to that, but I do get lots of information, and I don't remember everything I read or see, so do comment again if you would be so kind. Nevertheless, we're getting toward the end of this album now. I think this is the third to last track on the record. And yes, Holy Man, it speaks to a practitioner of some belief system or ritualized behavior. Of course, the degree to which that will be reflected in a literal sense depends on a narrative and or a scene that I will not be able to glean based on this first listening, given that I don't speak Swedish. But yes, a holy man could be a more formal practitioner, like a priest or a bishop, or some type of officially ordained individual in a given faith or belief system. But of course, a holy man could also be a guru or an ascetic who is, out in the wilderness practicing his own path and making a journey of spiritual or transcendental understanding or discovery. So it could be someone who is not formally entrusted with the proselytization or propagation of a particular set of religious beliefs, but someone who is engaged in a path of their own spiritual enlightenment. Nevertheless, I look forward to hearing people's comments and giving me a sense of what this one is about. Let's hear it. This is a track by Marie Fredriksson, and I believe it translates to Holy Man. incredible tune, and one where her voice stands out. Her voice is the unavoidably central performance of the tune. I suppose that's the case with a lot of her songs and Roxette tunes. But yes, sometimes I find myself focusing on certain sonic details, and I do have thoughts about the sonics of this one, but her voice was the real transcendent factor, and I love the way she really pushed it and extended in the back half of the chorus, leading into the post-chorus, like, transition back to the verses. And we definitely heard the title phrase a number of times. Now, not knowing the other words around it, I still can't quite make something of that. The sonic atmosphere of the tune makes me think this is more a holy man in a figurative sense or a metaphorical one. Again, maybe it's more literal, maybe it's just a juxtaposition of funky sonics with a more overtly serious and or religious based narrative. But again, I suspect that the phrase is being used in some figurative way. But yes, the sonics, they definitely had a funk to them. The bass in particular had a really funky element. The tune had kind of a nighttime vibe, and even though I would say it was more synth funk than synth rock, it still felt a bit synth rock, but not in the same way that I would mean that for a lot of the classic Roxette tunes of the 80s. So it's definitely a bit more of her solo flavor as I've come to understand it. Again, still a learning process, still incorporating and trying to process all the material I've heard, with the unfortunate inability of me to marry that with an understanding of the lyrics as we go through the Swedish language material. Nevertheless, the point is, it sounds more Marie than it does Roxette, even if, again, in a general sense, I think you could call this synth rock and it would be more or less accurate, although, again, maybe synth funk would perhaps be even better. But I do like the bass line in particular. I like the, as I said, sort of a nighttime mellow groove. There's a bit of a serious feel, but then when it gets into the chorus, it sort of explodes and gets a bit brighter, though again, that's primarily in Marie's voice more than the other elements. So yeah, without knowing the narrative, I would just say her voice carries the tune and gives it some import, some heft to it, even if, again, I don't know what the scene being painted is. So I look forward to hearing people comment. Once again, big shout out to Jeebus and all the folks who are following this and the Roxette journey. I feel like there's mostly the same folks who show up in both journeys, so do let me know what you think. And Luca, the horizontal cat, and I will see you next time. Peace.